Should be good now.
We good?
Yep.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep. I can hear you well and see you well.
Good deal.
Still have a couple more minutes.
Okay.
Good to see you early too. I remember when I was in college, our coach used to say, if your if your practice starts at 1 and you come in at 1, you late. You
Right.
have to be you have to be 15 minutes at least. Then you're okay. You're on
15.
time.
That's right. 15 minutes is good. Where are you right now, Coach?
I'm in Russia.
Where?
Samara. It's 700 miles south from Moscow. So it's still
Okay.
central part of Russia. It's 11:30 p.m. here.
Oh wow, it's
So
late. Well,
yeah.
I won't keep you up. I won't keep you up too late then.
No, that's fine. I'm already used to it. It's just whenever this pandemic started and there were plenty of seminars and different coaches speaking, I figured out that my schedule will be pretty messed up because of all the speaking engagements that are
Right.
3 a.m., 4 a.m. my time. So used to that.
Right.
So let's wait maybe 2 more minutes and then we can start.
Sure.
And
What's
the
what's
funny, yeah.
Coach? What's the audience going to be mainly? College coaches.
So what I'm seeing now, it's one coach from G League from Maine,
Uh-huh.
and then youth coaches from Russia who work with junior pro team, with youth team, and then basically through all the other speakings that we already had, it's either junior pro coaches or some professional coaches joining, and even sometimes the players. So I usually send the information to all the players that I work with, and some of them are 16 or 18, while some of them are 26-year-old pro guys.
Gotcha.
Before we start, I wanted to tell an interesting story. So Mike Procopio was mentoring me a while ago, and I think 2 years ago I was visiting Lakers practices, and Mike was like, "I have a really good coach. He's in Manhattan. He's in LA. You should meet with him. Just text me when you get to LA." So I got to LA. I messaged him. He didn't respond to me, and then we were there for only a week or so. I go back to China, and he messages me, "Basi, I just saw your message. I'm asking, oh, like, do you think there's any way to meet with the coach? Where did he live?" And he's saying he lives in Manhattan Beach, and we live in Manhattan Beach, and I'm like, oh, it was so close. So glad to finally meet here. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to meet in person.
Nice to meet you, Coach. Do you pronounce your first name Basi?
Yeah, Basi.
Basi. Okay.
Okay, so it's 31 minutes. I guess we can start. We already have 13 people, so others will join in. I'll let them get in later too. So before I start, I wanted just to give a quick introduction uh, to you. You're former director of player development for Chicago Bulls and Los Angeles Clippers, and current professional scout for LA Clippers.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
You have vast of experience, and I'm really honored to have you here. So I'm ready. Ready
Okay.
and excited.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. I know there's a big time difference between California and Russia, so I'll try not to bore you guys, put you to sleep. Um, Bossy, I don't know what kind of format you want to use. I have all your questions that you sent me.
Hmm.
Or I don't know if you just want to go through the questions or what you'd like to talk about. You tell me what direction you want to go.
Up to you. I can share. You can share the screen too if you need it. If no, it can be just more like me asking you the questions,
Yeah,
basically like an interview.
I don't have anything to share on the screen.
Okay. Okay. Then we'll just go straight to topic. So I really wanted to talk to you about the post play because I saw I saw the clinic that was uploaded on CoachTube, and I figured out that not that many coaches now teach the post play since most of the bigs are trying to spread the floor and shoot. And so, to me, being able to play in the post is really fundamental. And so, to start with, where would you want the players to receive the ball in the post? How would you want their feet and body position?
Okay. Now, when we go to talk about post play now, we're not just talking about post players and bigs. We're talking about everybody. I think
Mm-hmm.
all players need to be comfortable playing in the post. I think that's really important, and it's kind of a lost part of our game. I think it's important that we all learn how to post because it's the easiest way to draw fouls.
Mm-hmm.
Is to learn how to post up. It will really help you increase your free throws. It puts fouls on the opponents. We don't do a very good job these days of teaching post defense. So I think if you know how to post up, you can take advantage of defenders not knowing how to play in the post. Okay, so I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to start there. Playing in the post is a mentality. You can't be soft. You have to be tough. You have to like contact and physical play. So if those things aren't part of your game, then you're going to have a tough time in the post. All right, so let's start with the first question. Where do you want the players to receive the ball? It's very important that they understand that the last block on the free throw, before the baseline, there's a last box for the free throw, right, on the lane. You always want your
Mm-hmm.
post players above that box. Both feet. We want both feet established above that box on the lane. Okay? How should their feet and body be positioned? We like to teach that our body be square with the passer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So no matter where the passer is on the perimeter, you want your body squared with the passer.
Okay.
Okay? So your chest is facing him. Okay, that's the position you want to get. So if the ball's up top, you want to be facing the passer. If the ball's on the wing, you want your chest to be positioned toward the passer. So that's how your feet and your body would align. It depends on where the passer is for the most part.
Okay. Okay. And why wouldn't you want the player to catch the ball lower? Is it because of the angle when he
Yeah,
on the finish?
yeah. If you catch the ball below the block, you really only have one place to go, and that's back to the middle where there's space. If you're catching the ball above that box, now you have the spin to the baseline option. You still can get to the middle as an option. I think it's really important. You got to be able to go to both ways, and that's why you need to post up above the block.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Got it. And where should the player ask for the ball based on how the defense is playing?
Okay, and that's the key thing. Okay, it's based there's three things based on how the defender is guarding you in the post. Okay, if the defender
Okay.
is behind you, first of all, you need to spread out and feel the defender with your ass.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel the defender is playing directly behind you, we want you positioned what we call goalposts. Okay, and in the United States we have football and we have these goalposts. Okay,
Okay.
we want your hands positioned big and wide like a goalpost. If the player is behind you, all right, we want you having your target up big, what we call goalpost. Okay, that's the first thing. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if the player is guarding you on a three-quarter front, okay, then here's our hand position. Okay, if he's fronting me, I want my arm bar and my target hand. Okay, I want my
Okay.
arm bar in his chest, the defender's chest. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, I want my arm bar into his chest, holding him up, and I want my target hand here, calling for the ball.
Mm-hmm.
If he's fronting me on the other side, if he's trying to three-quarter me on the other side, I want my arm bar and my target hand. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's the position we want to hold to get the post. Okay, nothing drives coaches crazy when guys go into the post and they're like this and they're narrow. Okay, and they got no length. They're like this. being a good post player has nothing to do with how tall you are. It has to do with how big you are. Okay, you got to be able to be big and present a big target. Okay. So that answers that, I hope.
Yeah, and then the third one, right? So defender behind, three quarters,
Right.
and
Okay, the last one would be if he's fronting you, if he's all the way around in front. Okay, we have a term that we call beg baseline. Okay, so you want to position your body to where you're begging for the ball on the baseline side.
okay.
Okay, we call it beg baseline. So if I'm being full fronted, I want my arm bar up on his neck area in his back, and I want to beg baseline for the ball. And on the other side, if he's fronting me, I want to beg baseline for the ball. Okay? So those are the three ways to position your body depending on how the defense plays you.
And what would be off the post? What would be the main finishing options that you would teach?
Well,
I know there are a lot.
There's tons. And I think it's important that coaches, first of all, you have to watch the player play in the post, and he has to understand what his favorite move is. Okay, it doesn't make any sense to try to teach all these different finishes if he's most comfortable doing something else. So whatever he's most comfortable doing, finishing with, that's where you start. That's the one you want to emphasize. So if I'm most comfortable getting to a jump hook, depending on what shoulder I'm going to, then that's the first thing we start with. If I'm more comfortable opening up and using a sweep move, that's where we would start. But it's really important for coaches to, whatever move and finishing you're going to teach, you have to teach it going to the basket. I really think we let post players too much shoot fadeaways, turnaround jump shots. So no matter what you're going to teach, I think it's important that you emphasize whatever move it is, you get them going to the basket. That helps you draw fouls. I think to start with, you teach the simple jump hook with a power dribble to the middle, and be able to power dribble to the middle, left hand, power dribble to the middle, right hand. Okay. And once they've mastered that, you can add a simple little counter. Okay. What we call a dribble drop. Okay. So I take my man, I dribble him up, drop, step back, finish.
Okay.
Outside hand. So you start with those two simple moves, the jump hook and the dribble drop. And from there, you can go to a couple more counters. I would say young coaches, don't try to teach 8 different post moves. Okay. Your players are not Olajuwon. Keep it simple. All right. Teach 2 moves, 2-3 basic moves, and a couple of counter moves. All right. But don't try to teach, 9,000 tricky moves down in the post. Try to keep it simple. Jump hooks, dribble drop, up and unders. That's about all you need with your back to the basket.
And would it be the same for guards too?
Yes.
Or you would? Okay.
It's the same for guards. Now, I saw one of your questions off the post. That's the next one. Okay. What are the main finishing options you would teach off the post? The biggest thing players have to learn is when they get pushed off the post and the defense bumps them off the post, right? You're no longer a post player. You're now a perimeter player when you catch the ball. And what's the first thing you have to do? Turn and face. Okay, unless you're Shaq and you can back a guy down, but we want our guys, when they catch it off the block, the first thing they do is turn and face in a triple threat position. And we don't have to talk about pivots and all that. That's whatever you prefer. But you must, when the player gets pushed off, he must turn and face the basket. And now he's a perimeter player, but he's just close to the basket. Okay. I think that's really important. Now, in the NBA, our key is wide. It's much wider than FIBA. So when our guys catch it out deep and they face up, they're literally 18 feet from the basket.
Yeah.
If a college or a high school player gets pushed off the block and they face up, they're probably 12 feet from the basket. Okay. But I think off the post, the main thing is to turn and face up. Now you can use your rip, drive, jab step, drop step, all that stuff. So I would start with turning and facing and then playing off of that. And I would teach the sweep and the drop step off of that also. But it's really important. Catch it. If they push you out and you catch it, turn and face. Don't try to back the guy down.
Okay. And how much time would you focus on shooting the close range shots, just to make sure, like, if the player is catching the ball in the post, face up, and just so he feels comfortable, not only with the jump hook but also with the jump shot?
I think how much time you want to spend is up to you and up to the player's ability. But I would spend time on it for sure. And you got to understand, when you catch the ball off the block and you face up, that's a great angle for a bank shot.
Okay, yeah.
So we spend a lot of time with our guys from that angle shooting the bank shot from off the post faced up. So I would spend time shooting the jump shot, and now you got the shot fake and one drive and all that.
Got it. And in one of the recent presentations that Mike Procopio did on Paul Gasol, he was talking about Paul being a good passer from the post. So in your opinion, what drills would you recommend for coaches that they can work on so players can be good passers from the post?
Well, the drill, you can design the drill however you want.
Yeah.
But I would start with a post player and 2 perimeter players and having them work on cuts. Now you're going 3-on-3 live. Okay. So you have a post player, you have a wing, you have another person out top on the point. Pass the ball to the post and now just have those guards cut. It could be baseline cut. It could be middle cut. It could be a screen split. But I would start with 3-on-3 live and having the post player catch it and have to make reads off of the cuts. And that will help his passing and his decision making. The first thing, when you catch the ball in the post, all right, back to the basket, the first thing you should do, we teach our guys to chin the ball and look middle. Okay?
Okay.
Why do I look to the middle? Because that's where the cutters are coming. Okay? So if I catch the ball and I look to the baseline, I can't see what's going on. So we teach our guys, you catch it, you chin it, you look middle. Okay? And you read what's happening in the middle. You may see a cutter. Okay?
Okay. And with coaches now teaching playing with the pace, would you coach players against holding the ball in the post? Like if they catch a ball and there's nothing, would you pass it back and relocate? Right. Or
I think it's important that they use the 2-second rule.
Okay.
And if they can't make a play or a pass in 2 seconds, right now one of the biggest things is to pass it out and follow your pass for a pick and roll. Or dribble handoff up.
Okay.
So if I catch it in the post, I'm 1,001, 1,002, and I don't have a play, right away I should either pass it out and follow with the pick and roll, or I should dribble it up for a dribble handoff up to the player. So I'm actually dribbling the ball away from the basket to a dribble handoff and then a quick roll. So I don't agree with holding the ball more than 2 seconds. If I can't make a play in a couple of seconds, then I'm throwing it out quick and following with the pick and roll or dribble handoff. We call that dribble up. Sense. We call it dribble up.
Dribble up?
Up, because you're dribbling the ball up toward the defense. Dribble ups.
Okay. And that's good to know the terms too that you're using. And at what age level would you start teaching the post play? Is there any limit where you would start?
No, I would start it at 10, I would start it at 10 years old. I would start it at 10 years old. See, I believe before players turn 14 or 15, if they're 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, they should play all positions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would have guards in the post. I would have big guys doing guard skills. So I think at about 9 or 10 years old, you need to get those little guys into the post so they're comfortable in the post.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think it's important that they learn to, because what happens if you have a small player at 9 or 10 and he learns to play in the post and he's good in there, and all of a sudden he grows to be 6'10"? It's the same thing with guys on the perimeter. If you have a tall kid who's young, he's 9 or 10 years old and he's tall, and you can get him to do perimeter skills and dribbling and
Yeah.
passing and shooting, look at the advantage he has with his size. So I think it's important that you don't put him in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Let him play outside the box, in the post, on the outside, until they're about 15, 16 years old, and then you can change it. And then it becomes different.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
that's my
is there
suggestion.
any types of players whom you wouldn't teach post plays at all?
Yeah, but they'd be older.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and once they become older and more specified into a role, for example, take a player like Ricky Rubio. I'm not going to teach
Mm-hmm.
Ricky Rubio how to play in the post, because he is what he is at this point. Um, but so there's certain players that you wouldn't want posting up, but that's determined later on as they get older,
Okay.
18, 19, 20, and they become more established as to who they are.
Mm-hmm.
But younger players, I would put them all in the post.
Okay. So just whenever, while they don't have a certain position yet,
Yes.
just let them go post and guard skills both. But whenever player is already establishing his
I,
position,
yeah, to me that makes sense. Yeah.
okay. And even now, working with the NBA players, would you still teach? Would you still do something in a post with the guards, even though it's not their main option on offense? Just maybe as a warm up, or just something where to clear
Well,
their mind off.
okay. First of all, that question can only be answered by the head coach.
Okay.
Okay. If the head coach of the team doesn't want that happening, then don't spend your time on it. If it's important for the
Mm-hmm.
head coach that he work in the post, like if you're with the Dallas Mavericks and it's important that Luka Doncic post up, then you better spend time with him on the post. But that's determined by the head coach, not by the player development at the NBA level.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. And it makes sense. And talking about guarding the post, what things would you look at to determine how you want that player to be guarded?
Okay, the first thing is if the player is not a threat to score, okay, from the post, he's not very good in the post.
Mm-hmm.
You would play behind him. You would encourage the ball to go in. Okay,
Okay.
and then once he has the ball, then you could play him. If he's a good post player, if he can score before he gets the ball, you have to be physical with him, and you have to be able to be physical and
Mm-hmm.
push him out as far as you can in a three-quarter position. Okay,
Okay.
so I'm going to have my arm bar on his hip, and I'm pushing him out, and I'm going to, with my off arm, I'm going to deny him the ball, and I'm going to try to
Mm-hmm.
make him catch it as far out as I can. If he's a good post player, you don't want him catching the ball. You have to be physical. You have to do your work early. Okay, you can't wait. Okay, you have to start working him early. You have to start pushing him off the block early
Mm-hmm.
before the pass is ready to come in. So my position would be, we call that a three-quarter, and you
Mm-hmm.
try to push him out as far as you can. And then when he catches it, you play him straight up. You square him up and play him one-on-one.
Mm-hmm. And are there any cues that you use for the bump? The reason why I'm asking is because watching the young players, guard the post. Sometimes they lose balance and they're kind of like leaning forward and they get fouls and they don't know why they got the fouls or why it was so easy for the offensive player to blow by.
Yeah. Now you're talking about technique. Okay.
Yeah.
In our game, it's the rule is 1 and 1. Okay, so you can have one arm on his back,
On the back.
and the other's got to be an open hand on his back. Okay, so can you see my technique?
Yeah.
So that's called 1 and 1. As soon as I put two hands on his back, that's a foul.
Okay.
As soon as I do two arms like this, that's a foul. So it has to be an open hand and the other with an arm bar. That's the technique to guard the post. And you can use that. As soon as you do this, it's a foul. As soon as you grab them, it's a foul. As soon as you put two arms on them, it's a foul. So we call it a 1-and-1 technique. And if they start dribbling the ball, backing us down, dribbling, we take the open hand and we try to poke at the ball as he's dribbling. Okay. So that's the technique that we use when we guard the post. I wish we were on a court. I could show you.
Yeah, I can see that you're moving, and the court is something that is really missed. And so, what is, based on your experience, what is the biggest bad habit that you saw players do in the post?
Okay, one of the worst habits is offense. When I catch the ball, I bring it down here low.
Okay.
To my nuts. Okay. What did we say? We want the ball in the chin. Now you're strong and they can't take it. Or they do this. They put it over their head.
Okay.
Okay. That's one of the worst habits. Bringing the ball down low or bringing it up high. We want the ball here. So that's the first bad habit that I see. The second bad habit that I see in the post is they catch the ball and the first thing they do is dribble.
Okay.
And they don't go anywhere. They're not making a move. They're just dribbling. Okay. The dribble has to take you somewhere. Okay. The worst thing is the guy catches the ball in the post. He takes one dribble, he picks it up. Now he's got no options. So those are the two worst habits that I see is dropping the ball or taking one dribble and picking the ball up, and they've done nothing.
And talking about the second one, when the players are taking the dribble right away, if you have someone who's already been playing professionally, someone who is 25 or older, what would be the keys for you to make sure he's changing it? And the reason why I'm asking, one of the pro players that I work with, he's 7'1". That's when you started talking about the mistake, I can already picture him in my mind because that's one thing that he does, starts to dribble and just get there.
Yeah. Now it's okay. It's okay to go quick sometimes. If you feel, if I got the ball and I feel the defender pressuring on my back, okay, I can quick spin off of him.
Yeah.
That's okay. But most players can't just back guys down. Like Shaquille used to do. Okay. They just can't take 5 or 6 dribbles and try to back a guy down into the basket. That leads to double teams. And most bigs, when they get double teamed, they're not good passing the ball. So I think that's another thing. They can't take 5 or 6 dribbles to try to back the guy down.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I agree with that. And what would be the biggest bad habits you would see players guard in the post? So we talked about the offense.
Reaching. Okay, reaching and getting fouls. The other thing is having no resistance, just having their arms up and letting the player go into their body. Okay, and not being with the technique that we talked about. Too many times, players will just go like this. And you know what this is? I give up. That means I give up. Okay. So the two things, Basi, reaching getting off balance,
and giving up.
and then just having no resistance. This just means I give up.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Mm-hmm.
defensively, those are some bad habits that I see. And
Mm-hmm.
trying to gamble for steals, getting out of position.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. And one of the questions that I didn't send you, that I just got from one of the pro players. So if you have someone who's 6'9", skinny wing, and he's trying to get the ball in the post against the smaller guys, but the smaller guys are usually stronger, what would be the ways for him to utilize the post? How would he be able to gain the advantage?
I think it's important, and you see that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That he has to learn how to spin off and reestablish the post up. So almost like, imagine the post player spinning like he's going for a lob and then reestablishing post position again. He can't just be continued to push out. At some point, you have to spin
Mm-hmm.
off the defender who's smaller. You spin off him and then reestablish yourself in the post. I wish we had a court. I could show you what I mean. But they just can't keep on posting up, and the guy's pushing him. At some point, he's got to spin off and then reestablish the post up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then it will be all over the same, all over again, fighting for the position and trying to
Right.
figure out.
And remember, if he does get the ball off the post, pushed off, what should he do? First thing.
Chin, look. Oh, off the post, face up.
There you go. Face up.
Jab.
Remember, you're no longer a post player. Now you're a perimeter player, and we teach all our perimeter players to face up when they catch the ball, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. So
Yep.
post players got to understand where they catch it. And where they catch it determines what they do with their feet.
Mm-hmm. And before we go, I basically have one more on the post play, but I just wanted to say, the people who are listening, all the coaches and players, you're more than welcome to ask the questions in the chat, and we'll answer them. But one more that I had: what bigs and guards would you recommend studying for coaches and for younger players? If we're talking about the post play.
Yeah, bigs. I would watch Pau Gasol.
Okay.
Okay, and how efficient he was in the post, how good he was using both hands equally in the post. I think he's probably one of the best post players we've seen in the last 15 years. For guards, a guy that we used to have on our team was probably our best post player, and he was only 6 feet tall, and that was Chris Paul. Yeah, we would run a lot of plays to get Chris into the post. Now, he has a big butt, and he's able to put his butt and hold the defender off. Okay? But if you're a guard, I would study Chris Paul in the post. He's got very good footwork into the post. And the way he is big, holding his position, getting the ball, facing up, and making plays. So I would say Pau Gasol and Chris Paul would be two of the post players that I would study.
Mm-hmm. And if we talk about post defense, whom would it be?
Some of the best post defenders would be Kawhi Leonard.
Okay.
Steady how he is physical and he bodies the guy up. 10 years ago, one of the best post defenders was Joakim Noah.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he's able to use technique and poke at the ball. He's a very good post defender. Draymond Green is a good post defender because he's only 6'7", but he is able to guard the really big guys because he's strong and he has good technique and he's physical and he pushes them out. So those are the type of players that I would say to watch defensively.
Okay, great. And we got the first question. You said for the player in the game, the players in the polo shouldn't be soft. Do you think it is possible to work on this aspect so the player is not soft?
No. He's either tough or he's not tough. And now,
Okay.
especially the older you get, you're talking about older players, 18 and past. You can't make a guy tough.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it takes a certain mentality to play in the post, and guys that are soft aren't post players.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think it's really hard to teach toughness. Either you are or you aren't.
And talking in general, toughness is a mentality, right? It's not a skill.
No, toughness is a mental approach. And there's a lot of different types of toughness. You know, there's physical toughness, there's mental toughness, there's spiritual toughness. You know, a guy that's just not going to let you beat him. He's got a big heart. So there's a lot of different types of toughness. But if you don't have it, you're not going to be a post player.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you got, you know, and in today's game, so much of post play is pick, roll. And on that roll to the basket, you're going to get hit.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to get bumped. And you've got to be able to play through that contact when you roll to the basket. There's not always going to be a clear path. At some point, somebody's going to bump you or hit you or try to steal the ball. So you have to be tough.
Mm-hmm. And I got one more question in private. Why? So why you wouldn't teach young players to shoot a fadeaway? Is it from the low post? Is it because of losing balance?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a turnaround jump shot is different than a fadeaway jump shot. Okay? A fadeaway is fading away from the basket. For young guys, that's tough to do. A turnaround jump shot is different.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to teach them the difference between a turnaround jump shot or a turnaround jump hook and a fadeaway. Fadeaway is far tougher. That's a higher level skill.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how have you gone about teaching off-ball skills with bigs working on skills like screening and spacing? That's a tough one.
No, it's you know, how do you work on a skill? You're talking about teaching now. Number one,
Mm-hmm.
explain what it is you want. Number two, what does it look like? Demonstrate. Okay. Number three, have the player do it. Number four, repeat, repeat, repeat.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing tricky. I mean, that's teaching you. You explain what it is you want. You demonstrate how to do it. Number three, you have the player demonstrate the skill, and then you just repeat. Repetition, repetition, repetition. So no matter what the skill is, if it's screening, you teach them what the screen looks like. Here's what I want you to do. Here's the way it looks. This is how you screen his body, whatever technique you're using. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the player demonstrate it. Okay. Then you correct it. If there's any correction, you correct it. And then it's repeat, 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 repeat.
Mm-hmm.
Repetition is not punishment. Repetition is how you learn.
And it's hard not to agree with that.
Sounds simple.
Yep. Just like Mike says, dominate simple.
Dominate simple.
And if we're talking not necessarily about the post play, but in general player development, based on your experience watching the videos with the players, how long do you try to make the clips just to make sure they have the focus through the whole video?
You have to understand most players' attention span is very short.
Mm-hmm.
So you keep it short. 2 minutes, 3 minutes. That's it. Okay. And because after 2 or 3 minutes, what do they start doing?
Watching around.
Yeah, looking for girls or whatever. Okay. So you keep it short, 2 to 3 minutes.
And how would you deal with showing negatives over positives?
3 to 1.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah, three positives, one
Three
negative.
positives to every negative.
Okay.
3-to-1 ratio.
Would it be
That's
the
what I
same
would do.
pre-game?
Well, whenever you're watching film with the player, I try to keep it. If I'm watching a film of his game and we're watching
Okay.
what he did in the game, I'm going to keep it 3 positive things to 1 negative, if you can find it.
Hmm.
Sometimes you can't find it.
And the last thing I wanted to ask you, and I've listened to all the previous presentations that you did in the last couple months. You were always talking about how important it is to build relationships with the players, just so they have trust and respect.
Yes. Yes.
What are the keys here, in your opinion, especially for the younger coaches who um, haven't established yet, maybe, and who are working with more experienced players?
No, number one thing, if you're a young coach and you're working with an older player, number one, do not try to be their friend. Now, if you can be friendly, but you don't have to be their friend. Okay? They need you to be their coach. So understand that. You're not there to try to be their friend. Number two, you must tell them the truth. You must tell them the truth. All right. Now, the truth, they may be mad at you for 2 weeks. Okay. But if you lie to them, they will hate you forever.
Hmm.
Don't lie to them. Tell them the truth. Be honest. That may piss them off, but you have to be honest. See, players can smell BS. You know BS?
Hmm. Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Players can smell it. So you have to be honest. You have to be yourself. Don't try to be anybody else. When you talk to players, don't try to be this guy or that guy. You have to be yourself.
Hmm. Hmm. And actually, one more thing that came to my mind when you started talking about the truth. Uh, how do you deal with the players having their own, I want to say, like workout guys that they work with? In your opinion, what would be the ideal actions of those types of workout guys just to make sure they have good relationships, not only with the
Yeah.
player, but with the team as well?
I've dealt with that problem before many times. Uh, and you're not going to win the battle. Um, it's going to happen. Those guys are going to be around. Okay, so you have to live with it, and you have to. First thing you have to do is you have to meet with that person, whoever it is,
Hmm.
and you have to meet with that person and explain to him what you want to see happen with the player. What's important that you think the player work on. Okay, so you need to come up with a plan with their trainer, and hopefully, the trainer will work with you to develop a plan for that player. Because you got to
Hmm.
remember, if it's their personal trainer, a lot of times the player dictates what's going to happen because he's
Hmm.
paying the guy. Okay.
Hmm.
So if the guy's getting paid, he's going to do whatever the player says because he wants to get paid.
Hmm.
So you have to step in and just try to make sure that the trainer's working on things that are important for your team.
Hmm.
Okay. And try to help him. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes the
Hmm.
trainers have no heart, they have no integrity, and they just want to take the money.
Okay.
If they're really interested in the player, they will say, no, we need to work on these 3 or 4 different things that's going to help you for your team. So you have to meet with the trainer and be on the same page. Try to.
Okay. Okay. And basically, if you are the trainer, then you should contact the coaching staff and ask how you can be helpful when spending time with the
Ideally,
player.
yeah, ideally, that's what should happen. It doesn't always happen that way.
Hmm.
Uh, so, I've been in a situation where that didn't happen. So I had to reach out to the trainer and and just say, okay, what are you going to work on? What's your plan for our player? And do you have a plan? Some of them don't even have a plan. They just say, well, we're going to get some shots up or whatever. So if they don't reach out to the team, you need to try to reach out to that person and get on the same page. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
And that's good to hear from you, because I'm basically now working with the players individually. So I'm that person who needs to get in touch with teams, because at the same time I don't want to be my image not professional. And
Right.
so that's one of the reasons why I want to reach out. And at the same time, us, all coaches, doesn't matter on the coaching staff or individuals, the goal is still the same, to make the players better.
Yeah, I mean, put your ego aside. Go to the team, go to the coach and say, what would you like to work on with your player? What's the plan? Work together.
And I have 3 more questions here, asking in the comment section, if you don't mind. Versatile playmaking big seems to be growing in popularity in the NBA. Do you see a benefit in NBA college level bigs doing guard type workouts? Have you done guard work with NBA level bigs that you have worked with?
Yes, there's big benefit because the game is changing. Yes, we do guard work with the bigs, especially dribble handoffs, being able to pass and follow to a pick and roll. The big, you got to be able to catch it, swing it, pass the ball, and follow with a pick and roll. You got to learn how to dribble. So, yeah, it's become more popular. And I think in the NBA anyway, almost all the bigs do some sort of a ball handling, dribbling, because there's so much of that in the offense now. A big will catch it at the top of the key, right? He has to dribble handoff to the guard, or pass it and follow for a pick and roll. There's so much of that happens now that we have to work with our bigs on dribbling and DHO.
And last one that we have here, and I understand that you're a basketball coach, not the strength one, but still, based on your experience, what would you work? So the question is, what would you recommend as far as physical exercise for the development of a player who plays mainly from the paint? What should we pay attention to when working out in the gym?
The core exercises and lower body exercises and lateral movement exercises.
Can't agree more.
Yeah, lateral movement, being able to move laterally is really important for big guys because there's so much switching. Okay, so if I get switched onto a guard, the better I can be laterally with my feet moving, guarding the ball laterally. So I would say core, lower body, lateral movement.
And I remember one of your clinics, you were talking about that 80% of the basketball is played backpedaling.
Laterally, backwards. So we should do training laterally and backwards.
Yeah, fully agree. And that's the topic that I usually try.
Basi, you were paying attention.
Yeah. I got my notes here ready. all the notes from previous ones too. Well, I wanted to thank you for your time.
Basi, can I type my email here if they want to email me?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure. I even remember it.
Yeah, Jim Radid.
Yes.
Okay, if anybody has a question or if there's something I can give them, a handout or whatever, there's my email, and I'll put my name so they know my name. Okay.
Great. Thank you very much, Coach Severns.
Thank you, Basi. I appreciate you having me.
Yep, and thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll make sure we save it and we'll upload it on YouTube, just so if you miss something, you can still rewatch it.
Thank you, Basi.
Thank you, Coach Severns. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.